Ho ho buddies from Borderline Games, I'm Gareth and today we're playing it's called Beyond Our Rule Ripper. You think I know what it was called by now. We've just finished the 4th council. The 4th council, which took place after Jin's death. Trying to work out who is Jin. We know that the person that's allowed to kill, who's got the rule that says you can't kill, or at least we've assumed that the person has the rule. Based on the data, which I can't show you right now, based on the data, they have tried to commit suicide before. And we think that maybe it was Poker. I think I chose Poker, but it could also be Cocktail. I'm not sure if we know. It also means that if that's true, then if Jin is 9, which we think that she was 9, that also means that she's equally suicidal. Which Lime did not like. But yeah, so it could be that Poker is rule 1. It could be that Cocktail is rule 1. But I picked Poker, which might be wrong. Let's carry on. It's all changed in a single day. Again. He'd returned to being alone. And while he should have been used to it by that point, it was worse than ever before. That person's absence could be felt in the air, a great hollow that he felt compelled to fill. And in short time he realised he could not. It was impossible for him. That boy wasn't there anymore, and he wouldn't come back. Accepting that wasn't hard. Maybe it was even too easy. Frustratingly easy. Remembering that day, he could see how his way of thinking had taken shape back then. Or was it the very least strengthened? Or was at the very least strengthened? It was then at around 8 years old when he was born. That's how he felt. His 3rd birth, which wouldn't be his last either. Or perhaps it could be considered a premature adolescence. And alongside the return of his solitude came all its previous problems too. A return to the past, but with one clear difference. Now he had the will to oppose it, using what he had learned, or at least what he thought he had learned. But again and again, like in the past, he fell. A reminder of his weakness. Had he really changed? Had he actually improved in any way, or was it no more than a delusion? Such a feeling of powerlessness was stronger than any pain. Days passed by. The descent continued. His days with that boy seemed to fade, feeling like a dream he had woken from. Until it all stopped. Chase. I don't like that. One. Everyone would have their barman on hand. 2. We're going through the rules. To protect everyone's privacy, especially regarding their collected clues, it would only be allowed to touch their pockets without putting a hand inside. Oh, okay, because we're about to check everyone to see if they have Jin's barman. That's the other thing I forgot to mention. So, when we inspected Jin's body, we discovered that her barman was missing, which means that either someone stashed it somewhere or someone has it on their person. So this is rule 2. To protect everyone's privacy, especially regarding their collected clues, it would only be allowed to touch their pockets without putting a hand inside. I see. That would be enough to check the presence of a barman, considering their size and shape. 3. The inspection would be carried out by someone that could be considered innocent beyond a doubt. By popular vote, Piano was the one chosen. But was he the right choice? Once those 3 guidelines were agreed upon, the search for the second barman began. The result was unsurprising. Once it was confirmed that nobody was carrying another barman before checking the crime scene, it was time to go get the antidotes as usual. One by one they left the table in silence. Nothing appeared different on the surface, but the silence had become more tense, as suspicions and paranoia had increased after the council. Noticing his worries, someone talked to him.
Boy, help me out here.
What? Help him what exactly?
Getting me to the counter. What else? So much thinking fried your loaf.
You can't move.
I've got no plans on paying a visit to the floor this time, but I do feel somewhat nauseous, as if I'd had a couple of drinks. Well, I did have some since I awoke here. I don't mean the antidotes. Oh, there's that too. Or it could be from hearing so much blathering about data and numbers and crap.
No, I think it's the poison again.
Bah, I guess. Come on, throw me a hand or the whole arm.
Coming. With some effort, he got him up, and together they walked to the counter. Bloop. Reaching the counter, they found a peculiar scene. The drinks had been distributed across the counter as usual, but the others weren't drinking them yet. Everyone gathered around the lift behind the counter. Bill had heard it come down on the way, making him suspect something was off, as he already heard it as the hour ended. In other words, it had come down twice, bringing the drinks first, and on the second one...
Here's good, boss. How much?
Huh?
For the taxi service, I mean. What became of your sense of humour? Never had one?
It went away. An hour ago.
Oh, right. Excuse me. I lost my tact. Forever ago. But you're free to ignore my comments, I can accept that.
I can't understand him, but I can't hate him either. Now that Lime's mood is down, he's the only one trying to maintain some cheeriness. Even if it's not appropriate, even if it hurts, putting out that last flame would hurt a lot more. Leaving vodka on his seat, his attention went back to the lift. The group had moved away from it, so he could now see what was in it. Though it wasn't necessary, one look at them was enough to know. Good to know we haven't been completely abandoned. Everyone had one croquet in their hands. Croquet? Croquet. Indeed, for the first time the lift had brought them food. A plate with 9 croquettes, one for each player. 4 hours had gone by. Enough time to start feeling hungry. What's a croquette? They had no way of knowing if food would come every few hours or if it was a one-time gift from their kidnapper. Either way, it was certainly welcome. It wasn't much, but enough to keep their bodies going for some time. For some more time. Alongside the appetizers around the counter, like the peanuts Cocktail had found for Cigar. Once he'd gulped down his drink and quickly ate his croquette, he went into the data menu in the hopes of getting another data about one. What have we got? Has house servants. Ooh, that sounds like it could be piano, maybe? Hang on. Has house servants. Bill was left aghast, his eyes fixated on the screen, incapable of even blinking. That was the data he'd been looking for from the start. Data that included number 2. The key of the Golden Jack. Ah, I see why that's a significance. Does that mean piano might be number 2? He hadn't expected to see data like that. A servant? Did it mean a butler? Or maid? Either way, he obviously didn't have anything of the sort. He lived alone. Which meant that the data confirmed without a shadow of a doubt that he wasn't 2. And even more crucially, it confirmed his number. Okay. With the data he now possessed, he could discard all but one. 6. In an accusal, a person with the accused number will have to abstain from voting. I thought that he was 6, didn't I? I feel like I said that already. I can't remember why I justified that, but I think like before he went missing, we knew that he wasn't 2. So it was between 2 and 6, wasn't it? So that meant that he had to be 6. I think that's right. If a majority is reached, but the chosen person is incorrect, those who voted for that person won't be able to vote for them again. When there's only one option left, it must be the correct one. That was his conclusion. At last, 4 hours later, he had his number. He still didn't know why he couldn't find it in his barman, but that didn't matter anymore. A multi-purpose rule for both offensive and defense. Despite that, he was determined to not accuse anyone, thus removing a big part of the rule's benefit. But it still had that small protective aspect. He didn't have to abstain if his number was being voted on. It was minor, but that could be life-saving in extreme situations by avoiding a majority vote. After so long asking himself what was his own rule, the answer had suddenly appeared at the least opportune moment, when it no longer mattered to him as much. Still, now he knew with certainty that he was truly trapped there. Leaving the bar, something he planned to do, and was even about to do at one point, would have likely resulted in his death, and we know that it did at one point. It was a risk he'd already considered at the start of the game, but while he'd felt mentally prepared to take it, now that he knew what the result would have been, he was horrified while also glad he hadn't gone through with it. But that last thought disappeared once he realised what it implied. Jin's disappearance had stopped him as he was about to leave the bar. If she hadn't been murdered at the start of that hour, he would have died in her place. Was it something he could be glad for? Did he owe his life to the killer? Was he chasing after his saviour? No. He wouldn't be thankful. He wouldn't stop. Though that was the truth he had to accept. He would stop the one who, albeit indirectly, stopped his death. He put away his barman with trembling hands, be it from fear, anger, frustration, or something more. His gaze rose, expecting to see Cocktail behind the counter, but found it empty. In fact, he was the only one present. A chill ran down his spine. He instinctively turned around, making sure that there was nobody behind him. This look is good, isn't it? They did say they'd go look for the barman. Right. He'd been so focused on the data and his thoughts that he had forgotten. Yet even after that realization, the trembling didn't stop. If he could get lost in his head and lose sight of his surroundings so easily, he was vulnerable to a surprise attack by the killer. He'd never seen that bar as safe. The existence of the game drenched it with a dreary atmosphere unfit for what should be a place for comfort and fun. But it had gotten worse since Jin's death, and now he felt it stronger than ever before. We need to get out of here. That strong wish finally made him rise up from the counter. He'd let the others take care of the bathroom. He neither had the will nor need to go back there. Meanwhile, he would continue his search. He had to find the culprit before they found a new victim. The strategy was still the same. Look for hints related to his data, investigate the murder, and talk to the others. And the first stop would be... Okay, where are we going to go? Okay, so... There's the piano. Pool table. Chairs. Oh, ignore that. I don't want help from you, phone. Alright. Okay. Piano. Pool table. Chairs. Toilets. Now, did I say I don't want to go there because that's what other people are doing? Billiards table, let's do that. Whoop. Maybe he could find something on the billiard table or even behind the dartboard. Worth a check. Facing the billiards table were two people. Were they going to play? That reminded him of... Hey Bill! Once again coming at the right time. Huh? I thought you were searching the bathroom. We were. Unfortunately, we didn't have any luck. Jin's barman is truly gone. Thought so. Why though? Hey, slow down there. That's council material. Not like we're gonna figure out anything, but still. I guess. And what are you two doing here? Were you going to play? No, not at all. It's not the time for games. We already have our hands full with one. Besides, the game I wanted to play is no longer possible. Right. Then what are you two doing here? Just chatting. We're at the counter, but I threw out the idea of coming here. He's probably bored of being stuck there all the time after all. Their drinks had been left on the top of the pool table. On the top of the pool table's edge. Even in their situation, they were making sure they didn't leave any stains on the table's cloth. Am I interrupting then? Nah. Don't worry. You can join in. Do you want something as well? No, I'm good. Guys ready to go get you something? What a pro. It's one of the few things I can do to help. The situation is making me feel less powerful. No? Well, I guess that's kind of what I did say. The situation is making me feel powerless. That's how I really feel. We're all pretty much like that, especially after that council. It's not your fault. What about you, Bill? I'm trying to do my best, but it doesn't seem to be working. Frankly, I'm afraid we're focusing too much on the killer. Wasn't expecting that from you. You're implying we should forgive them. No, of course not. But it really worries me that what will happen when we find them. If we even do. I don't believe we can reach an agreement. Killing one could create more killers. But that won't stop people wanting payback. And I think I'm in that group. I'm trying to stay calm, but my blood boils, just thinking about the murder. Revenge is not the only possible motive. Removing one is the fastest way to win the game. In fact, we too could have a bigger chance to... No, we too could have a bigger chance to win by physical means. What an odd way of putting it. I can't avoid feeling the distrustful gazes from the others. Right, same here. Bill couldn't say anything. Not only because he obviously saw them as suspects too, but more than that, he didn't share the same feeling of being suspected by others and the pressure of having to prove his innocence. You suspect me too, right, Cocktail? And you suspect me, correct? So it's a draw then. But hey, look at us, still chilling and drinking together like it's no big deal. All of a sudden, Poker started laughing. Bill unconsciously made one step back. Cocktail, however, stood firm. His serious, almost menacing gaze was fixated on Poker. He had kept a gentle and calm disposition up to that point, but now it felt different. Bill couldn't say which one was more terrifying. Was it Poker's laugh or Cocktail's eyes? My bad. All this shit is starting to fuck me up. It's too much. It is. Was it you, Cocktail? No. Quick answer. Nice. How about you? Me? Jin, please. Don't even dare think that of me. You're hurting my pride here. Just kidding. It doesn't bother me that much. Truth be told, I would have liked to know her better. Play another round against her. Her death hurts, but we only knew each other for a couple of hours, so it's not really a good argument. It's not like we were childhood friends or whatever, but... And don't even dare think anything weird. I appreciate the honesty. It didn't answer my question, however. I'm innocent. Hope you can believe that honesty too. That will be harder. I think... Fearing what might happen, he tried to stop them. Billiards. Who is your main suspect? Who is my main suspect? How are these two? Huh? I'd like to know too, not gonna lie. But only because I'm curious, of course. I don't have any main suspect. Be honest, please. Ooh. Well, I guess I picked Poker, didn't I? Should I follow through? Darts. Poker, cocktail. Poker? Poker. Do you have nothing to say? What do you want me to say? You got me. No. Don't have anything to add besides, I'm innocent, please believe me. Which would be a waste of time. I'd like to know the reasons though, obviously. Gotta be at least one. No? Well, nothing conclusive. Well, duh, but there has to be something that makes you suspect me over him. Well, I can't really put it into words. Maybe intuition? Intuition, eh? Guess I don't have the most trustworthy face around here. That's not what matters. Surprise me then. Is yours intuition too? Time will tell. Avoiding the question. I prefer to wait for the council when it comes to these topics. Buddy, you're the one who brought up the topic, don't bullshit your way out now. No, it was you, but if you insist, I'll highlight a few details that got my attention. Your personality is plainly audacious. Challenges entice you, and winning this game must be an irresistible challenge. Said it at the start, if it weren't for the deaths, this would be a pretty interesting game. Unless you can accept that lethal factor. In fact, it adds a risk element that makes it more intense, more alluring for someone like yourself. I'm winking at you. You're taking me for a psycho. And the biggest challenge of them all is to kill and get away with it. Oh. Now you've crossed the line. Am I mistaken though? Your attitude fits what will be required for a murder. You don't know shit about me. I like challenges, sure, but I'd never. This would likely be the first time you've killed someone. It was clearly not a professional's work. By the way you're talking, you seem to be the professional. You seem to be the professional. Calm down. You're the suspicious one here. Hiding behind that gentleman facade, and now you reveal what's behind it. Cocktail. Now I get your game, bartender. Acting all friendly so people trust you, to then do this. This game's perfect for you. If it's just right. Enough. He couldn't take that rising tension anymore. It had to be stopped. Not only with his words, physically too. Stepping forward, he stood between both men. Fighting ourselves won't solve anything. Thought you wanted to find the killer. Of course I do. But not by pointing fingers without any evidence. I agree. But it sounds like you're expecting everything to be resolved peacefully once we found the evidence. Huh? We need ready ourselves to face the culprit. You mean offing them? We need to stop them. Not kill them. Easy to say. Not that killing would be any easier either. If we were to vote them out, they'd be free to kill us mid-council and get an easy win. Same if we tried to stop them. Correct. That doesn't justify this argument. Certainly not. I didn't want to get to this point, but poker is too short-tempered. You've also lost your usual gentleness, gentlemen. What I said really shook you up. So in your eyes, I can say the same about you. They both stepped forward, getting face to face with Bill as the only wall between them. Don't worry, kid. If he's the killer, he won't make the stupid mistake of killing us here where anyone can see. He won't make the stupid mistake of killing us here where anyone can see it. And if it's you... Same, obviously. Good. Cocktail took a step back and turned around. Oh, now he's there. Let's forget what happened here. We can continue this conversation later if my suspicions are proven true. Good. He then proceeded to spit on the floor, his face changing into a smile, while Cocktail left without looking back. be honest, I also have my doubts with darts, but I can't stop thinking about the chance of it being that guy. Something about him creeps me out. I don't trust him. Hey, you hear me? Hey! Ah! It was such a scare that he jumped back. Went on a trip to Dreamland or what? No, maybe. Cocktail and Poker were right. It would have never stopped at one death, even if one of them was the culprit. He didn't want to admit it, but even if his mind understood it, his body was reacting. His body had reacted with an intense panic that had paralyzed him. Hey, cheer up. We're still 9 out of 10. The battle just started. And I won't throw in the towel. Don't care if it's Cocktail, Darts, or whoever. The killer and that owner bastard will pay. Feels like it's not Poker, doesn't it? See you at the council. Maybe I should have picked Cocktail. Turning around and with a quick hand gesture, he left in the opposite direction from Cocktail. Bill was left alone. He needed to continue the investigation, yet his thoughts were blocking his movement. If that had been his reaction to that confrontation, what would happen if they unveiled the culprit? Was he ready to stop them, or would it be left to the others? He wasn't physically weak, but he was far from the strongest one there. That went beyond simply solving a murder. Finding the culprit's identity wasn't the end, and it wouldn't be enough to save them either. The killer wasn't even their biggest enemy. Taking care of Rule 1 wouldn't end the game. With nobody else around to do so, he had to force himself out of the clouds. He couldn't afford to stand there doing nothing for much longer. I'll have to worry about that when the time comes. If it does. With a deep breath and trying his best to calm down, he focused on what awaited before him. The investigation. I came here for the hints, and now's the time. His first idea was to check inside the table's pockets, problem being that he couldn't see the bottom, nor had the means to. Disassembling the table would be going too far. No, it wouldn't. You can do that. Considering that hints were supposed to be searched in secrecy, it wouldn't make much sense to have one that required a method that would catch everyone's attention. I suppose that's true. Has to be something more accessible. His nickname's honour was at stake. If there was a hidden hint there, he had to find it. He grabbed one of the cues. As he'd never used one, there was some curiosity. Lighter than expected, or heavier. Not sure what I expected, to be honest. Oh. Looking at it gave him an epiphany. Although he immediately realised it was actually a bit silly. Even so, he felt the need to try it out anyways. He approached one of the pockets again, and did what might be considered a capital sin to any billiards player. That's how it felt to him, at least. Inserting the cue into the hole. Well, it reaches the bottom as expected. Can't see how that's useful though. It was when he was about to take it out that he felt something. It was subtle, but the cue moved unnaturally, as if it'd come alive for an instant. It's a snake! What? He took it out fully and checked the inserted tip. Ordinary at first glance, but suspicion started to grow on him. A standard wooden cue, albeit with a different material on its tip. Bill had no idea about the subject tarnishing his nickname, but it wasn't what he had imagined. Q-tips were usually made out of leather, and although at a glance it made for a good disguise, touching it revealed a metallic feel. Wait. a second epiphany came, a much stronger one. Perhaps it's a magnet? Oh, if it is, well, this is cool. Praying to not be seen, he tried inserting the cue into each one of the pockets. And in the fourth attempt... What is it? The fish in the pool table had taken the bait. Huh, fish in the pool table had taken the bait. When he took it out, a piece of paper now dangling on the When he took it out, a piece of paper now dangled on the tip thanks to a metal clip used to fold it and reduce its size. He grabbed the note, removed the clip, and opened it up with slight fear. It seemed to be a photocopy of a legal document, but the contents were legible. I've never seen one, but this seems to be about a divorce. Oh. As expected, the names were censored. That made them harder to identify, but most of the players weren't old enough to have gone through a divorce. Hint, divorce papers added to the inventory. Okay, enough for now. Is it possible that Billiards went through a divorce and doesn't remember? We are at a billiards table, so I kind of assumed that it was about billiards, but I guess not. He put the hint inside the envelope, the cue back where it had been, and moved to the next location. Okay, can we have a look at it now? Or we'll have to go to the next location first. Sofas. And there's the tables. Okay. Where do I want to go? Piano we've been to already, haven't we? Maybe I could go back there. Toilets? Going near the crime scene wasn't a very amusing idea to him, but the entrance could be hiding a hint. Right, okay, before we do that, I want to look here. Is this the right thing to click on? Divorce papers. Legal document going over the divorce between Party 1, Mr. Someone, and Party 2, Something. The date is from 2 years ago. Though the names have been censored, as well as most details, there's a small note identifying Party 2 as a rule in the game. Oh, okay. There was a dispute on the splitting of assets, ending with Party 2 managing to keep the property of their small business, even with the contributions of the other party due to having originally obtained through family inheritance. However, most of the other assets went to the other party. There's no mention of child custody of any kind. Huh, okay, so who could that be? Cigar, maybe? This kind of looks like a paperclip. I thought maybe this would change. Okay, well I guess we're going to look into this next time on Borderline Games. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Beyond Our Rule Ripper, and I'll see you next time. Have a good evening. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.